Hi everyone, welcome to my Calathea plant care video. Today I'm going to show you how I take care of my calatheas. This is going to be a little bit more technical. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I wash my plants' leaves, and this is something that I do I would say with water every couple of months, every 3 months or so. I definitely use distilled water. I just use I upcycle kind of an old salad container from the store. I try to do that as much as possible. I use a sponge that has no dye, right? So I don't have to worry about anything getting onto its leaves. And then I just gently kind of take off any dust. You may know my Calathea had another spider mite breakout over the winter. And I think that just stress from too much dryness in the air, I was having a real struggle with that, really brought the infestation back. And so I've got a lot of brown to trim off of the ends of my leaves. And that's another thing that I do. I have these really sharp trimming scissors that I bought. And when I go through and I trim the brown spots off, as you can see, this is really some pretty serious damage, not just from a lack of humidity, but again from spider mites. I leave some of the brown on the tip. I do not open up a new wound on the plant. I don't open a new cuticle. I really am not interested in my calatheas at this point. These are pretty old leaves. I'm not interested in them spending lots of energy healing new wounds. What I'd really like for them to do is to focus on new growth. Spring has arrived and my calatheas will start to push out new growth about now, and they will continue well through late fall, sometimes even through the winter, depending on light conditions. And so something that I try to do is make sure that when I'm cleaning up old leaves like this, I'm not wasting the plant's energy fixing fixing a new wound on an old leaf. I'd really like them to grow new leaves. This is my wooden dowel. I had someone ask me how I use this. If you go ahead and you look, I just dip this into my plant soil, 1 to 2 inches. That is how I test for moisture. It lets me know if I've got lots of soil clinging to the tip. This is pretty moist. I did just recently water this calathea, and this is kind of how I test whether or not and how deep I have moisture in a pot when I certainly can't see it. I also use this dowel to aerate my soil. So you're going to see me poking it there all the way down to the bottom of the pot. And so this is a way that I kind of introduce aeration and ways for oxygen to get into my soil. So you can see here, the soil is pretty damp all the way down to the bottom. I keep that wooden dowel close to my calathea at all times. I use it at least a few times a week. Right now I'm going to go ahead, I'm removing my calathea's little mushroom friend that I got in Cambria, and I am going to be watering my plant. And so again, I'm taking that distilled water. I am evening, or at least trying to water evenly, because what I want to do now is I'm going to fertilize. So I'm going to come back in with a fertilizer that is reduced to about 25% of what's recommended. And then I'm kind of just checking out the new growth here in the center of the plant. You can see we have a lot of unblemished, beautiful leaves. These were coming out around the time that I got rid of the infestation this last time. And so I'm pretty happy with the new growth. It looks really good. And that's what I'm trying to encourage with fertilizing. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take my plant and put it onto a temporary water catch just to show you how I manage drainage. So you can see there's lots of water here in the bottom of the pot, and there's a lot more than normal because I've watered and I've fertilized. I go ahead, I dump out what's run off. I put my plant right back in. You see these big river rocks at the bottom? I do use those outside of my pot, right, to actually help with drainage. If you put rocks in the bottom of your pot, you're actually going to impede water from being able to drain. If you're going to use rocks, have a water kind of catch tray. put them there, elevate the plant on top. That doesn't impede the water draining out of the pot, and what it does is it makes sure that my plant is never sitting in standing water inside of a catch tray. That's something that I do with every plant that I have. I use rocks not inside of the pot, outside of the pot. And so you see me going around cleaning my calathea up a little bit more, trimming off a little bit more of the brown. Here are some tweezers. I got those on Amazon. What I do once I've fertilized, once I've got everything taken care of, I come in and see that dead organic matter here. I pluck it away. I get rid of it. This is stuff that can attract actually beneficial pests, but it can also attract pests that you don't want. Here we can see some new growth right there, which is exciting, kind of coming out from the bottom. So again, I'm just checking over my plant, looking for where I see any kind of rot, where I see any kind of organic material that I know can attract pests, and I get rid of it. You can see here a few of the elder leaves. You know, they're starting to brown up. These are leaves that are eventually going to droop and come off. Before filming this video, I took 2 of its oldest leaves off, the longest leaves actually, and they came off very easily. They were ready to go. And so that's also just realizing that, you know, a plant's leaves don't last forever, right? And so keep that in mind. Sometimes it's a good idea to help them along and to remove the leaves as they start to wilt, as they're limp, as they're not going to recover, right? And I kind of check the soil around my plants as well. And this is my calathea done. I do this pretty often. This is how I maintain them. And again, this is more of the technical aspects of how I take care of my calatheas. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you have questions, be sure to leave a comment. Until next time, be well and take care.